we do. Why? Because we're going to be talking about business, life, and relationships. And what was funny, we were just talking a minute ago saying, well, number one, everyone has a life, no matter what shape that is in, but everyone has a life, right? Yeah, everyone's got relationships, whether it's intimate or with their family, or maybe it's even with themselves. And most people work in a business, or they have a business. So I think the topics that we're going to talk about today are going to be super awesome. So whoever's on here now, put hashtag live, just so we know we're live. If you're watching this on the replay, put hashtag replay, just so we know, because if there's some questions or some interaction, we just want to know, was we there? Did we address it? And it gives a better idea how to do that. Also, there is a competition. Now, Christmas is here. So you want to get yourself some free Christmas goodies. We have a real life merchandise shop where all kinds of things can be purchased, but we want to give something away today to a person. And that'll be the person who, first of all, shares this. So to qualify to be the winner who we select at the end of it, you got to have shared it on your timeline, plus then tag people. So if you're in the real life tribe, you're going to tag people, 10 people in, 10 people out of the tribe. If you're not in the real life tribe, just tag 10 people. So do that. And then you've got to be on the end when we announce the winner, because you've got to be able to comment and say, yes, 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 I'm here. So do not forget to do that. We'll remind you again a couple of times throughout, because maybe not everybody who is going to be watching is watching right now. But go ahead. Thank you, Liliana. Thank you, Gurmel. Start doing that tagging. Let us know when you've shared it as well on your timeline, so we can give you a shout out. So awesome to have everybody here. Do keep commenting. Let us know where you're. By the way, well, do you think, should we do some market research? What tier is everybody in? People keep telling me I'm in a tier 3 or something like that. I'm not sure what that is. So yeah, put it in the comments. Let us know what's going on there. So Trisha, why don't you let us know a little bit about our wonderful Money Monday panelist today?
I'm super excited because Kamila has been amazing and I love her energy online. So really exciting to bring her onto the Money Monday real life panel today. So just a little bit about Kamila, and then she can come in and tell you a bit more about herself and what's been going on more recently. But not long ago, she was a mum to twin girls, and we've all been there, but in unhappy relationship, and was working in the NHS as a midwife. So this is awesome. Listen, I'm saying this could be different kind of relationships as well, but was going through quite a lot personally and working for the NHS as a midwife, which is a really full-on job. I mean, we have a lot of doctors, nurses that are in the real life tribe, and that is a really, really full-on job. And thank you so much for doing that, Kamila, because that's awesome, working for the NHS as well. And on her average sort of 26,000 a year job. And really, I resonate hugely with this, is like you were saying, you have to almost hide your personality in the kind of career that you were doing at the time. I very much resonate with that, because I was always told to kind of calm down throughout the years of growing up and everything, and was seen as quite a extrovert person, but I should always just quieten down and be hush. So certainly I resonate when you say, you were having to hide your personality, and you were accepting that people just didn't like the real you, which again I resonate so much, and I'd love to know a bit more about how that is now compared to what it was. And then you made a big jump into becoming a single parent. So absolutely warrior woman for doing that. And now, but you're actually friends with your ex-partner as well, which is awesome. So, and you've got amazing, amazing past where you've been able to create a 6-figure business in just over 6 months, which is a huge, huge win. And being a single mom at the same time, what a amazing woman you are. And now you're the owner of multiple successful businesses, and you become an expert in your industry, and you found a way to create happiness through something that you have a passion for and through your vision. So clearly you are, as you say, very well known as your feisty, no rubbish attitude. And we are excited because, like Mark said, this week we're going to discuss business, mindset, life, relationships, and whatever else we want to throw in there with some great passion, energy. And you are at a spa right now, which just proves that you are living the life that we all resonate to have and do with your children. And you've just been to the Maldives, loving seeing all of the posts about that and that paradise environment that you were in. So welcome.
Thank you. What an introduction. Thank you so much.
Is there anything else to say? Should we just end it here?
Covered it.
I'm sure you have plenty more to say. So, guys, if anybody has any questions, start putting them in now. Questions about how to create success, business, life, relationships, how to deal with, or because I think was one of the biggest things. So we could probably start with that. Is how do people deal with things going on in their personal life which could take them away or distract them or hinder the process of building a career or building a business or whatever they're obviously putting their hand to? So that's what I think that we could start off with. So what do you think on that, Kamila?
I think, we all deal with difficult situations. Everyone's got something going on, whether we know about it or not. People go through things, are going through things, and life will always throw stuff at you, and it all depends on how you react to it. So you can either sit there and cry about it or feel sorry for yourself, or you can think, you know what, this has happened, and I'm just going to move past that and look into the future and try to make the most of the situation I'm in and not take any excuses. My thing is there's no excuses. So whether you have children, whether you're single, whether you work in a job, whatever you do, there's no excuse. If you want to change your life, if you want to do something, then you can always do it, no matter how hard it can be. So I know you guys had changing circumstances as well. I went for a breakup. I've got 2 young kids. They're 7 now. It's hard. It's really hard. And, you have doubts and you think, how am I going to do it? Am I doing the right thing? But as long as you keep going and you see that you're getting somewhere, it's okay to fall over sometimes, as long as you get back up.
We like to call it.
I don't know if you agree.
We like to call it a makeup. Not that it was a breakup, but it was a makeup to the future. That's what we like to call it. But so was there a time that because you say, okay, my attitude is I don't have any, whatever happens, I don't want to create an excuse. So was there a time in your life where you did kind of make excuses or give reasons for not being able to do what you wanted to do?
No.
You literally always been like that?
Maybe I've always been like that, but maybe when I was in a relationship, I was in it unhappy for a number of years. And I justified. Nothing ever stopped me doing things. I mean, I went from working in a bank to leaving that, training as a midwife, while I was working and to trying to pay the mortgage, getting pregnant with twins in my 3rd year, finishing my degree on time despite having brand new twins, commuting to Southampton with 6-month-old twins, 3 hours there and back. So that was, to me, that's not a big deal. I always think if I've made a decision to do something or something's happened, like that's my responsibility and I just have to deal with it. But maybe staying in a relationship longer than I should have, but then I did it for the kids and I tried to make it work. And I was thinking about other people rather than myself. So that's the only reason. Other than that, no, I can hand on heart say that never made excuses.
Wonderful. So that would be a luxurious position for people to be in. And there's 2 sides of it. So let's touch on one side. So everybody has had their path, right? Everybody's, gone through the experiences they have. So what are the experiences or what happened early on in your life that's given you this attitude of, no excuses?
I'm an immigrant, so I moved here when I was 15. So through my life, so I come from, my mum was in a violent, domestic violent relationship. We ran away from my father when I was 9 years old. And then we moved houses very regularly when I was young. We went from no money to having a lot of money, but her being in an unhappy relationship, moving countries. So I started again so many times that I'm just not scared of starting again. It's just a normal process to me. I think if something doesn't work, I just go again. So maybe having experience of that has made me a bit stronger, and to know that it's okay when things don't work out.
Yeah, I totally get that, because, you know, I traveled to many different countries, hearing many people's different journeys and stories, and all these people, training thousands of people who are on their journey to creating success, and everybody has their path. So like, what advice would you give? I just want to put it out, bring it onto the panel right now. Like, what's the advice? What's the tips of like plugging in to those experiences and turning it into some kind of fuel, or some kind of forward momentum? Because just before we go into that, because most people, right, they want to, you know, they're here, yeah, and they want to go here, whether that's relationships, happiness, you know, money, business, whatever, yeah. But most people have to first of all hit down here first before they start going up. And a wise man once said that from here to here is much shorter distance than from here to here. So why wait to go down? So what advice can we give to the people who might want to get into property, start a business, might not be happy in their current life circumstances? I mean, it's a bit of a taboo subject. People are like, don't want to openly talk about, yeah, you know, I'm not happy right now, and, you know, what about my relationship or my current situation at work or a job or a place where they're in. So let's get that beautiful thing fired up like a stove.
Oh my God. So, I mean, what can you advise someone? I think so many people are afraid of the change. They're just scared because they don't know what the other side is. Is this the fear of the unknown? Even though sometimes you're unhappy, you just think, oh, it's not that bad. My life is not that bad. I'm in this comfort bubble and things are okay. Yes, they're not where I want them to be, but I'm all right. And I don't want to be at the bottom. So like you said, most people wait to the point where at the bottom. And I was the same when I changed my jobs. You know, it took me a while to leave my job. When I hit rock bottom, I thought, well, I've got no money. I'm on the verge of bankruptcy. I've got nothing to lose now, so might as well do it. Where before, I think sometimes having money in a bank or a well-paid job or, you know, an okay relationship just gives you that comfort that distracts you from aiming for the best. So it's almost breaking that pattern of having to go down to the point where you've got no other choice. But then how can you give someone that advice when you've been in that position yourself, where you just want to drift? It's quite difficult. I don't know what to say other than take this step and, you know, and go forward. But what would you say to someone? Because that's quite a difficult question, actually.
I love it when people bring these kind of questions, or maybe they don't even understand that this is a question they're asking. And the funny thing is, I'm always searching for like real teachers. I like to call them real teachers. Yeah, these real teachers are the ones that can create a situation or an experience for someone to really learn. Because most people think, they say, yeah, I mean, my grandma used to say this, like, experience is the best teacher. Yeah, well, what is still yet to be proven otherwise is experience is the only teacher. Like, nobody really truly learns something or acquires the knowledge, like the real knowing, until they experience it. Yeah, and you might think, some people probably think, yeah, but if I read a book, then I've acquired knowledge. No, you've gained insight, but it's not knowledge. Like, you don't know. Yeah, you don't know until you experience. Like I have insight that Australia exists, but I don't know Australia because I haven't experienced it. You know, so in my opinion, like, to answer that question, we got to then create a situation where somebody can experience taking that move, experience what it would be like or what it's like to have nothing, if that's what they need to get them going. Experience what it would be like to make that call or put that offer in on that property, or start that business, or take a move into the unknown. Like do something purely on, well, there's a process I'm supposed to follow. Let me just follow the process. I have like for them, they're going into the uncertainty, but just to follow a process that somebody else has done, create that experience. That's what my answer would be. Like my question is, or start that business, or is that you, Trisha?
Yes.
You want to watch it twice?
Share it.
Yeah. So based on that, that's what I like. My question is all like, how can we get them going in to something to create an experience?
Yeah, for me, what happened for me was that I just had like a moment in my life where I was in this corporate job, working all these hours, never seeing the children because they were just basically in nursery, or as soon as we'd get home from work, it was dinner, bath, bed, or dinner, homework, bed. It was so constant, and it just kind of became a cycle where I was missing out on loads of stuff. And like I've spoke about it quite a few times, but it was things like having the choice removed from me as to whether I could go to a sports day to see Courtney on a race. I wasn't allowed to because we had a meeting or whatever. Like, where was my priority? And my priority was the children and not missing stuff, because I knew that would have a meaning to her. Like, oh, what? You can't come. You can't watch me. And it was that kind of moment where I was like, well, you know what? I loved the kind of recognition I was getting in my job of feeling like I was winning and I was brilliant. But at the same time, I was like, it was the lack of, the money was okay, but it wasn't giving me experiences in my life. It was just kind of paying my mortgage and paying for nursery fees and stuff. There was nothing else left over to actually have an experience. So I think it was only when, like, I sat with you, Mark, and we were like talking about goals and things that we wanted to achieve. And both of us were kind of like, I don't really know how I'm going to do this, if ever, with doing what we were doing. Like, you were working 90 plus hours a week. I was working 50 plus hours. We obviously had the children. And it was just like, I physically don't know how much more I can do. And then I was like, oh, should I get another job? I could get a job at the evening when the children are in bed. I could, and then, because I was just like, I want so much more out of my life, but I literally have no idea how to attain it. So I think it was that moment in my life which actually it was like a smack in the face or a wake up call to say, I need to look at alternative ways to give me more with me not having to do so much as well. Because it was things like having these experiences to travel to, have these moments in my life. Because it wasn't even about things, not stuff like that, having those material possessions. It was, having those experiences and the freedom to just say, do you know what? My daughter wants to swim with dolphins. Let's go to this place so we can go swim with dolphins, and not having to worry about how much it cost, or term time holidays, half-term holidays are triple the cost of a term time holiday. But then what about the fines? It was honestly, it's silly things like that, which I know now I kind of don't think about as much, but at the time, that was like, I can't afford that when I was just working in this job. So it was just those choices and experiences that I was robbing myself from, it was a thought process and how I had to think differently to be able to get myself a result that was absolutely like life-changing. So it was a choice. And what happened was, it was putting myself in a totally different environment, because my friends, my family, the people that I was working with all had the same kind of mindset, like work harder, do more, then you'll get promoted, you'll earn more, blah, blah, blah. Whereas when I actually opened myself up to a different environment, so, a different network of individuals, people that wanted to train, people that wanted to coach you, people that wanted to mentor you, people that wanted to add value to your life to train you in an aspect that was going to create different opportunities. And it was so scary, like taking that decision to invest money in myself and my future without having that guarantee, without having that, oh, but this is, you know, get a better job and work hard and do it, you know, the status quo. So that was the moment for me. And that's like, you know, the thing that Kamila was talking about leaving her relationship to become a single mum, to have that unknown and that start again. It was me and you, like, ending our relationship. We knew it was for the better because we both had different goals and were very different people to what we were like 14 and a half years before. But it's that moment and that fear of like going into the unknown. And it is technically, it's like investing in yourself to give yourself those choices, that time to actually say, I want to do something else because I choose to give myself more.
Yeah,
yeah, it's scary.
Yeah, so I just thought of something. So let's talk about this, because at the end, like, really what it comes down to then is like, why is it that I don't want to make that move? You know, why is it that I don't want to end that relationship or see if there's something out there business-wise, career-wise, other than, because you know what's funny? You know, I've built many businesses where I hired many people and we fired people too. And that's also happened to me, you know? In fact, I was fired 3 times by my dad. What's funny about that? Yeah. But every time I was like, oh no, but what if I'm not here anymore? What if I don't have this job? What if I don't have this income? Every single time, it always moved on to something that was better. And afterwards, and this had to, for me, by the way, because some guys out there, I know they're quicker than me in terms of getting it, but I had to bang my head against the wall a few times regarding, like, I had to see that happen a few times before I actually got it. Like, something's better is going to happen. I'm going to move on to something better rather than holding on to this stuff. So I think to put it out there to people, it's like, you got to ask yourself, well, what if I, you know, because this happens in business. People say, oh, what if I train my people so well that they leave? Mm-hmm. You know, I'm going to train them and they're going to leave. You know, like my purpose on this planet, I don't mind saying, is to teach people. I love the creating real training for, like, creating a real experience so people actually learn from experience, which is the only teacher. Yeah, my passion is business. I love business. So in business, we teach all of our people very well. So the question is not what if I train them so well that they leave, it's what if I don't train them and they stay? So, like, how do we pose that question in life? Like, what if you invest in yourself or you have some training and most people are saying, and it don't work? Yeah, or it don't pay off, or I don't see any better results, which in a way you're already intending not getting any results. So what would you guys say? How would we pose the question, or how would you guys pose the question? Kamila, you first. Like, how would you pose the question to help people make that transition to making a move rather than just standing still?
I think it's a lot of these things is taking accountability and knowing that, because we've been mentored, as you guys know, so you have been mentored, now you mentor people. It's someone can teach you what you need to know. They can show you exactly what you need to know and do, but it's up to you to take action. It's down to you. And it's not that they are the bad mentor or they don't know what they're talking about or they're scammers. Is that you have to then take these steps and apply them into what you do. And I don't know whether you see the same, but in the training world and the property world especially, there's so much, you know, so many people going out there saying, oh, it's just a scam. It's just, you know, a pyramid scheme. These people just take money and they don't do anything. And how is it that some of us have amazing results and some of your students have amazing results and other people don't really move much at all? So, and for me, I don't know if you agree with that, it's literally taking accountability, knowing that a mentor will teach you, a mentor will guide you, a mentor will help you and tell you everything that you need to do, but a mentor will not do it for you. So if you pay for a training course, if you pay for mastermind mentorship, no one's going to do it for you. And accepting that it is on you and accepting that you are the one not taking actions, or you are not doing enough maybe, or maybe you're not doing it quite right and you need to change things. So I think taking accountability for your own life and for your results, to me, that's one of the most important things, because otherwise you're going to be all forever blaming other people for your unhappiness. You're going to be blaming other people for not getting the results. Oh, there's always something in the way. And it's kind of links to, you know, no excuses. When I say no excuses, it's like taking accountability and the responsibility that this is on me. And if I have made an error, or if I'm not getting where I want to be, then I need to look at myself and think, you know, use the people I've got available to me, because mentors are investing in a mentor is the best thing I've ever done and the best money I've spent. And using them and accessing them to say, can you please guide me, because I'm trying this is not working. What else could I do? But accepting that it is down to you to do that, whether it's a relationship, whether it's work, whether it's business, because it's like employing people, you know, working with people, having relationships. You know, if your relationship is not going right, thinking, is it the other person, or is it both of us? You know, is it something that we can change or do? Or do we both need to make a significant change in this and move on to something else? I think once people have accepted that, you know, they're in charge of their life, it makes it a lot easier for them to move on and get the results.
Good. So let's just quickly remind people, anybody who's watching right now, we're running a competition where you're going to win free real life merchandise. So this is like hoodies, leggings, socks, you know, there's cups, there's blankets. I don't even know what else there is. Oh, it's just me and you. So yeah, all of these things. So what you need to do is you need to share, first of all, on your timeline. Then you need to, if you're in the real life tribe, you tag 10 people in and 10 people out of the tribe at least. Or if you're not in the tribe, just tag 10 people. Yeah, and then if you're on here at the end and we announce you, we're going to pick someone who's done all of those things, and then those guys are going to win it, and someone will contact you, and you get it sent to you, and hopefully you get it in time for Christmas, which I think you will. There's still time. There is still time. So you know what you just said there, Kamila? I love that subject. Yeah, and what's just happened is, you know, I'm writing a book at the moment. Well, I wrote the book. We just need editing and publishing now. Yeah, and in it, there's a section on coaching, mentoring, training, and facilitation, and what all the differences are. Because, you know, when people are going out there and wanting to select something, like to learn, whether it's property or trading or whatever it might be, then what happens is they're kind of like the due diligence that people do. Like you say, they go into it and say, oh, is it a scam? Is it this? Is it that? Now, there's a few things here to look into. I mean, one is that coaching and mentoring are very different. Yeah. And most people who are out there who say they're coaches, and this isn't, I'm not bad mouthing anyone or disrespecting anyone. It's just that, you know, I think the terminology is sometimes mixed up. Like, because someone who is like they call themselves a coach, but really they're a mentor, meaning a mentor is somebody who's taken some steps and now they're going to mentor you on taking those steps. So a good mentor would be someone who is where you want to be, and they have been where you are. Yeah, that would be the best. That would be the best. What's going on here? Yeah, Trisha, you want to come in or not?
Oh, good, I'm back. I have no idea. It made me disappear.
Yeah.
No, I think.
Hold on.
Another thing. So it's all good. Carry on.
Yeah, we're just in the middle of something. So that mentor thing. Yeah, so that's a good mentor, but a good coach is got to be someone who frees your life force, your power, your energy up from, you know, the past or conditioning or your worries, your fear of taking action, moving your rubbish out of the way, so to say, so you can take a step forward. Yeah, so I think there's a big mix up between that. And then training, like there are some people out there that again have taken some steps, so they can say, hey, these are the steps that I've taken, and it like give a principle or a step-by-step guide and all the rest of it. And that's useful, again, to give insight. But again, then facilitation is very different. Facilitation is where I see the real teachers are, which they'll create an environment where people can then experience something, because experience is the only teacher, remember, to actually go out and do the real deal, do the real thing. So that is what I see is super important in that aspect of things. But, you know, another thing, what you mentioned, Kamila, is like, you know, people like, oh, they get a mentor, or mentoring is the best thing you've ever done. which I totally agree with. And I went years in my life for trying to figure it out myself and watching YouTube videos. I even tried to learn to play the guitar just from watching videos. I was too tight to pay 10 quid to somebody to, you know, just teach me how to play the guitar. Yeah. Now I must have spent I've spent over 300,000 on training, and coaching and mentoring and all of that stuff. Yeah. And what's funny is the only people that ever say that either that's crazy or you're just saying that to invest in yourself is a good thing because you want people to invest in your program or whatever. The only people that say that are the ones that are not really seeing a benefit, like they're not invested in some good training or a good coach. Because anyone that is already totally on the mindset of they're never going to not train. You know, because I see a lot of people as well, they invest and they spend sometimes 10, 20, even 30K. And they're like, well, 30K is a big amount of money, so I'm done. You know, I need to see my return on this money. And the problem is for those people, if they've not been in the right environment or got the right support or the right people around them or the right training or the right coaching, they might not have seen the results yet. And for some people, it might take longer. Because if their resistance is high, then it takes longer for you to see results because you're resisting everything. Yeah, like, you know, Kamila's got this situation where resistance gets broken because there's no excuse. Because like an excuse is a form of resistance, right? Yeah. So if you got that, then you can propel and go on to the next thing. But most people, they stick and hold into that resistance. Like, no, I mean, what they're saying kind of makes sense, but surely everybody, 99% of everyone else, they're not doing that. So maybe I should stick on that side. And they stay, you know, on that side of the fence until they hit rock bottom, maybe. Yeah. So how do we move this forward? How do we get people? So why don't you give us some insight, Kamila, to what were some moves that you made? Okay, you invested in yourself. So then what started to happen? What start a business did you go into, and what start obviously in property and service accommodation? Like, what did you start to do there?
So I invested in property training in similar times as you guys. I was just saying as we were talking beforehand. Joined one of the competitors, and being honest, you know when you get sold a 2-hour seminar that you go to and then you upsell to 3 days, and I went to the 3 days, and I was one of those that thought this must be a scam. I don't understand this is weird, because I wasn't used to it. I was taught, I'm from a family where you work hard. I'm Polish, so we are grafters. So you work hard and you just work harder, and then you work harder and harder and harder, and that's how you live basically. So came to this thing and they say, you know, pay this money to find out more. And then the next step is you pay that much more. And then we're going to tell you how to change your life. And they get people with these stories of how they left their jobs. And you think they're just actors. Like, they just got these people here and they're just lying to my face just to get me to sign up. So that was me. But then when I did, and when I sat there in a room and they told me these things, you know, when in your head, like when you think property, you know, I can't do that because I haven't got the money. I can't do that because that doesn't work. And then they show you how to do it. And you just like, oh my God, like everything I thought that I knew, like, is wrong. Like everything was wrong. And you don't have to have your own money. You can use investor monies. Like, who would give me money? And you refinance and remortgage and you go again. It's just like, my mind was just blown completely. I was just like, this is just a different world. So that's how it started for me. And I started investing with my ex-partner at the time. And we built a portfolio quite quickly. The problem was that we broke up as we were building our portfolio very quickly. So when we made a decision, well, he made a decision to sell it, we lost a lot of money because we bought in Wales, cheap and cheerful, remortgaged fine, but struggled to sell. So lost a lot of money per house. But I never lost like hope in property. Like, I knew property worked. I just knew it was my circumstances that were difficult. So I came back into it. And the good thing about properties, and I hope that people are seeing this, that there are so many options. So whether you don't have the capital, or whether you've got bad credit, or whether you need the cash flow quickly, or you want chunks of money, or in a build big portfolios, whatever it is that you want to do, there's always a way in. So then a few years later, so that was 2017, I went to another training provider. And I knew what I wanted. I needed cash quickly, like monthly income, I didn't have money to invest. I couldn't buy property, so I was on rent-to-rent strategies. So I knew there was between rent-to-rent HMO or SA, and I liked the sound of SA more. My area I thought they would work better, and I didn't want to spend time on Google researching how to set up an SA, what I need to have in place. I didn't have time. I was on verge of bankruptcy, 27, 2 young kids, not even at school, working, all the hours that I can to pay for everything. So I already understood how it worked. And I knew if I paid someone to give me that information, they'll give it to me, but then I have to go and apply it. So paid for a couple of courses, got out there straight away and just tunnel vision. It's like, I just need to rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Don't listen to what anyone is saying, because all my family like, you're crazy. You're not thinking about your family. You're not thinking about your kids. Why are you going into property again? You've just lost money. I just thought, blank, just don't listen. Just keep going. This works. And I mean, 6 months later, I have built up enough cash flow that I could leave my work, and I was traveling, and the life was so different. But it's understanding that, how this whole thing works. And again, someone can tell you, but then you can choose not to apply or not to believe it or not to do it right. So property education to me has just been the best thing ever. And then I still didn't have mentors at that point. And then when I created the income, I thought I now need a mentor, because I know myself and I know I'm good at starting, and I'm sometimes get scared when it comes to finishing things. So I'm not very good at continuing. And when I had like 15 grand a month cash coming in from my SA business, I thought, I know what's going to happen now. I'm just going to ruin it. I'm just going to screw it all up. It's going to go. Like, hello money for 6 months is just going to disappear. So I thought I need a mentor to teach me about business, because I know nothing about business. And that at that point, I got mentored by Rob Moore. And, the thing is, you can fall out with companies, you can fall out with people, but I'll never regret spending money for anything that I did. I'll never regret taking mentorships, courses, whatever. Because every single thing I did, even though some of them maybe I didn't agree with how they run things, so it wasn't quite what I wanted it to be, I've always learned something, and I always then used it and applied it in my business. So,
coach, because anyone that is already totally on the mindset. Trisha, are you okay?
How they run things, so it wasn't quite what I wanted.
You seem to have difficulty managing your technical things there, so I put you on mute. Yeah, carry on.
So to me, the property, again, with property education, is like you said, you could spend hours and weeks, months, wherever, years even, going on Google and finding all the information for free. And maybe you will, but I wanted to make sure I don't make the mistakes that I knew I could make. I wanted to protect myself from that. And it's like coming to somebody and asking them to give you all the experience that they've accumulated and all the knowledge they've accumulated as they've been there and done that, and just pay them for their time. Why is that not a good thing? Like, I don't understand why a lot of people have this mindset that it's bad to pay somebody for that. You would go and pay a teacher to spend time with you and, and I don't know, teach you about a subject. You pay university to go and do a course, a lot of money. But some people have perception that it's not okay to charge when it comes to property, when it has made me so much money. And there's so many people that, I've then mentored and taught that have completely transformed their life through it.
Yeah. So, what you just said there is probably hit it on the head. Like, when people are asking the wrong question, people are saying, maybe people are asking the question, oh, how much is it going to cost me? Yeah, to do this, rather than how much is it going to make me? How much is it? Yeah. How much am I going to make from this? But what's funny, because we've had people come on, we've had people, and this is how I operate in business. Yeah, I always worked on the people. The people are the business, and any business that I grew or trained or was involved in, I'm always about the people. And a lot of people disagreed with that. Like, just get them on the phones, just get them taking action. We need to be doing business. And I'm like, yeah, I want to take care of the person, because when they're good, then everything's good. And what it is, we have people come to our training and invest money, and some of them invest a lot of money. And I remember this a few times now, this same phrase has come up, that they said, even if I didn't invest in any properties, or I didn't get any properties from this program, then it's still been worth it. because I'm feeling happier, I'm more on top of things in my life. Some people have said that it saved their marriage, it saved their relationships, and all that it actually ever comes down to is, how do you feel? I mean, my definition, I'm not saying this is the definition, but my definition of success is, am I waking up happy, like blissful, like excited, like I can't wait to go sleep, to wake up the next day because I'm excited about the next day, because, this stuff here, this stuff is like, people are like chasing this stuff, and they're like, oh, I want more of it. And the more I get of it, the happier I will be. But this, as we were discussing at the beginning, this is like a result. Whether no matter how much you have, whether you have this much, or like whether you put it to good use or not. I mean, sometimes the more that people have of this, the more dangerous they will become. Yeah, but this is just a result. And guys, if there's one thing that you take from everything that all these people here on this panel have said, like, it wasn't so much exactly talking about the money, it was talking about the journey in the pursuit of the money, but like feeling a certain way. Like, let's put it this way, if you're not enjoying the journey, you're gonna have a hard time if you're not enjoying the journey. Yeah, I did a video on YouTube, you can go and watch it, and the principle was how sex made me a multimillionaire. Yeah, I would strongly advise you to go and watch it, because if you're not enjoying the journey, I might be giving away the video here, but if you're not enjoying the journey, then, like, I'm sure people don't go in to sex thinking, yeah, let me just get this over and done with. I mean, maybe some people do, I don't know. But like majority of people, I'm sure you don't. Like, it's what's the process involved. I love the chase. This stuff is actually not really that entertaining. Yeah, okay, it gives choice. It is important, by the way. I don't think it's not important. But like, I love the chase. I love the chase of building the business, finding the people, training the people, finding the deals, debating with Trisha whether the numbers stack up or not, because she just wants to buy every deal, whether it does or not. Yeah, which makes us a good team, because she finds deals, and I kind of make sure the numbers work. Yeah, and then we do the rest of the project. So like, all of that stuff really just comes down to, are you enjoying the process? So Kamila, I want to ask you, because there was a few things about having some ups and downs, which I seen you talk about not so long ago. So above all, like, because we haven't got too long left, but above all, if you could give us some insight, like first of all, have you enjoyed the journey?
I have. I definitely had, I think it's easy to get lost, because I'm probably like you, I like the chase of success, the pursuit of success and achievement, and the deal and the next deal and the next thing. And so it's in me to continuously want more and more. And I probably got lost in it a little bit. I probably got lost in it, and it became exhausting and very stressful. It was probably too much. And I was told to focus on business, ignore, your life, relationships. You need to do this right now. And it was the wrong advice, and I took it. And that made me struggle, and that made me question a lot of things. Should I even be doing this? Why am I doing this? What is this for? Is this ever going to change? And I used to say last year that I'm just in a survival mode. It was my thing to my friends, my family. It's like, I'm just in a survival mode, because it'll be all right once I get there. And there was never getting there the way I was going. So made some significant changes, and I'm loving the journey. And I've kind of gone back to I love property. And like, I love property, but I guess like, and the things with mentors, is doing at the end what you love and what you want to do, because I was probably pushed too much to do something that I really enjoy. But at the end of the day, like, I love public speaking and all of that. That's great. But I love property. I like the deals. I like being on building sites, but that's my core thing. And then I like to show people how I do it. It's not about being this big personality on stage and learning how to speak. That's not really me. Like, I just want to be me, just real. I don't want to be trained and polished and, put into something that I'm not. And I think that's what was happening. So definitely, I'm not going to say that the journey is always easy, because you're not always on track. Sometimes you take the paths that just, lead you in other places, and sometimes that's a good thing and sometimes that's a bad. And I've definitely had a couple that weren't so good. But life is so different now. When you just stop and you think, what do I actually want? What am I good at, and which way do I want to go? And I love the journey. And it's like with you, it's not so much the money. It's not. And I know it sounds bad, because people are like, oh yeah, of course it's not the money, so why do you chase it? It's because it's this, the money equals success, doesn't it? Because in property and what we do, money comes with results.
Yeah.
Sorry?
I like the money, and I will never ignore or never say I don't, but I understand what you're saying. I totally hear where you're coming from. Like, if all you focus about is the money, you lose sight of like, what's the purpose of life, or what's the value that you want to add, because it's money is just an exchange of value. Like, somebody will give you money because you're giving them something that is of greater value than the fake money, but that's a different show. Yeah, because it's all fake. Exactly. So very, very quickly, like, what tips would you give people? Because obviously you seem very happy now. I understand that you had a day at the spa today.
I did. Yeah, so we're still here.
Yeah. So seems like I'm sure there'll be many more cycles that come back, which I'll touch on in a moment. But first, I want to hear from you of like, okay, so you get through that. What tips would you give to the people to get through those times where you just feel exhausted, or life maybe getting on top of you, or life's getting in the way, or like you want to start saying the circumstances are putting pressure on you from all directions? What advice do you give to people to get through that?
My advice would be, it's okay to stop. It's okay to take a break and stop, because sometimes you need it. Because, you are the person who runs this business. You are the person who are making these things happen. And if you are not well, then nothing's going to happen. And I was in my head, I thought I can never stop. And what ends up happening, you're just killing your passion, you're killing your enjoyment for life, and you making yourself ill. So I took a break, and I switched off from social media. I switched off from driving around the country and running events and doing things. And I really reached out to people as well, because whilst families may not agree with, what you do and not understand it, at the end of the day, there's friends and family that are there for you, and to allow people to be there for you, just for them to be. And then try to think of what you feel, how you feel. Get help when needed. I saw a therapist for quite a few months, just to get me in a better space to understand myself, what was going on with the relationship, the cycles I was in, because it's easy to get into cycles, and I don't give up. So my problem is I never want to give up. And I've been in a couple of situations where I was refusing to give up on something that was just, I should have given up a long time ago, but I just didn't want to, because to me, there was still a way to make it work. There's still a way that I could make these things happen. And I was refusing to just say, this is enough. This is no good for me. So I would say it's okay to stop. It's okay to ask for help, and it's okay not to be okay. But once you've taken time off and you've sorted yourself out, then just pick yourself back up again and go. And it's okay to start again. It's never too late. You're never a failure. People feel like they're a failure. I don't think anyone's a failure. As long as you get back up and go again. We fail. We all do. And I'm going to fail many times. I just know it's part of life. But you learn from every single episode of your failings. But you're never a failure as long as you just keep going.
Yeah, keeping going is super important. We have a thing that sometimes not sometimes, a lot of the time, we kind of include in like our code of honor, like our set of rules that we're all going to play by. And one of them is finish what you start. Yeah, and we always had that. One thing I realized recently, there is no finish. And it actually helped me understand how to keep going with more passion. Because usually in the mind, it would be, oh, I need to get to here. And only if I can see the finish line, you know, it gives me that all of a sudden, I don't know if anybody's done any kind of race or kind of Tough Mudder or what's that suffering thing, whatever these things. And when you're tired and you see the finish line, all of a sudden the energy comes out of nowhere. Yeah. Like, but that is all, like, because at the end of the day, that's the end of a race. Fine. But like, when you've done one thing, there is no end. There is no end, you know, so like, as long as I just keep going, I'm going to find out what I need to find out. I'm going to discover what I need to discover when I need to discover it. The universe has a wonderful way of putting peace and all that together. So thank you. I mean, we had some amazing comments on here, a couple of questions that we didn't get to answer because we need to wrap up now. I need to get some very important information from you for the tips for the people. But we can go back into these comments, and people are asking, like, how did COVID hit your business? Like, did it hit your business, or how did it affect your business? So we can go in and do that, maybe even do some little videos afterwards. Because what I think is super important is what I wanted to share based on what the back of what you just said is there are days for me as well where I just think, you know, quit this, forget this. What's all of this responsibility? Why do I have to go and hire more people? What about, you know, delivering more training? What about this event? What about that business? What about that next property? And I just think, yeah, forget it. Let me just go for a walk. Let me just not do nothing. You know what? Even this morning was one of those days. I was thinking, how do I come up with an excuse to just cancel everything that I got booked in? That's what I was thinking. But I developed, and this is my tip, I developed this this mechanism. And this mechanism is that no matter how deep the water seems, no matter how dark that it gets, there is always a way out. And I may not know that or be able to see that way out, but there always is one. And no matter how painful it may seem, it will pass. That's my little mechanism. Yeah. And I've been through, and by the way, we got to cut the next few Money Monday panels we got coming up. We've got some exciting people, but like I just want to introduce here, like, because people think this is nonsense. Some people. Yeah. The whole spiritual side. I mean, if you listen to Robert Kiyosaki, which is, you know, one of the top guys in business, financial education, and property, this guy blatantly says all of his wealth comes from spirituality, his spirituality, all of his wealth. That's what he says. Yeah. So for some people, they think this is nonsense. And what we're talking about here is tapping into that, you know, real spiritual being of who we really are and bringing it forth into this physical universe and, you know, having that knowledge on how to play this game. Because I think it's only the physical world and our mind that's going to determine whether we perceive it's tough or it's not easy or I want to give up or something. It's not the true being. There is no finish line. We are infinite. So there is no finish line. Like, you know what I was saying? There is no finish line. It's not like finish what I start. There is no finish line. We only ever just stop working on it. It's never done. Just like training, it's never done. You know, it's never done. So to wrap this up, let's get each single one of us, or maybe that was mine, but like from each of you, just like, what's the tips for the people to go out there, follow their dream and make the decisions they know they've been needing to make, but they've just held it off? What's your tip? Start with you, Trisha, because then Kamila can give it the headline act. You're on mute. Oh, that's awesome. Imagine if we could do that in the room. I'm only joking. Oh, wow. It's not letting me do it. It's not letting me take you off on mute. No, it's there. It's done.
Yes, honestly. Oh, I feel like everyone's so silent and I've just been like, want to say something. I want to get involved in that. But there we are. It's all good. No, for me, I think the biggest tips that I can give is just to absolutely believe in yourself. So just completely ignore other people's opinion, because really the only person that's responsible for your results, your success, your happiness is you. So, you know, stop blaming other people for, oh, I would have done that if not, you know, this and the other. So just completely forget other people's opinions and their scarcity mentality, and just, if you want to do something, go and do it. And the easiest and quickest way of obviously achieving something is to follow by example of somebody that's already doing it very successfully, because that will speed up your results, like Kamila was talking about, like me and Mark have done. So stop allowing naysayers, negative, mindset people with their own beliefs. It doesn't make them wrong, it just makes them their beliefs. And absolutely go for what you want to achieve in your life, because and take responsibility. Exactly. People are commenting it in here. Take responsibility for your life, your own life, and your own results. Because listen, if you don't go out there and do it, like if I didn't go out there and make that decision to do something about it and change, and believe me and Mark had every person that could possibly comment against saying we shouldn't be doing it, that we could. And I was just literally like, oh my goodness, I think we've made a huge mistake. But thankfully, we had such drive and such the drive that we had. So yeah, take responsibility, but also have some balls in your own, ability to actually make it successful. Yes, we're all very easy and quick to say, oh yeah, but I'm going to make this mistake and I'm going to do this wrong. You are going to make mistakes, but at the same time, I'd rather make mistakes and still move forward than not make any mistakes and stay where I was. So, sorry, that's my very short, fast, but quite a lot of words. Tips.
I love that. And I've only got a tiny bit to add, because I completely agree with with what you both said, and on exactly the same page on that. And I just think, there's a lot of fear. And I think the best way to get rid of the fear is just to do it. Because once you've done it, you realize it wasn't actually that bad.
Yeah.
So just do it. Don't think about it, just do it.
Awesome. Love it.
Absolutely. And before we wrap this up, I need to quickly let people know, because I know there's been some anticipation and some build up around what's happening next year. And there's a 3-day virtual program called Real Life Property Secrets Exposed. Yeah. And like, if you want to pay to play, which is what we've been talking about here, then we said that, because people are asking for it and the website isn't even live. So if you actually want to get a ticket for that, the last chance to get it at the lowest price you're ever going to see is probably today and tomorrow, because as soon as the website goes live, this is £1,000 ticket, by the way. Do you have the link, Trisha? Are you putting that in there?
Yeah, I'll put that in there.
So this is your last chance to get it. This is 3 days, by the way, and a virtual program like never been seen before, I promise you. And here's the best thing. I'm gonna have the confidence to say this, that it's going to be the best program for investing in property, not because I say, but because of the results that people will get on it, not even from it, on it. That we're going for records in finance.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not being funny. I genuinely love the fact that we can stand here, sit here, shake here, and say that every single person in the Real Life Tribe has results. Every single person is a different person, personally, professionally, financially. That is such a huge thing to be able to continue. And I think because of mine and Mark's personal commitment to the brand, to the mission, we will do whatever it takes to make sure that everyone continues to, whoever's coming in, certain level of people. It's an impossible to fail environment because of how we set it up. So get yourself to those 3 days, because if you don't, what else are you going to do to change your life next year? This year is the biggest year of all that has proven that you cannot rely on anybody else for your financial income or, dependence. Stop relying on other people. Clearly, oh, I'm so sorry, you're going to go on furlough. I know it's been a horrible year in some respects, but if anything, I think it's been a fantastic year for people to wake up and realize that they need to take responsibility for what they earn, how they earn it, and what they're going to do with their life. Oh, you can't go out for a month or longer or whatever. The fact that we had our own businesses, we were able to work remotely, we were able to not have a concern that we had no school for the children, and it was oh no, how am I going to do this, because the people that normally look after them, babysit, are vulnerable or whatever. Like, take charge of your own life. So get yourself, you can't make yourself available for 3 days in January. You've got plenty of notice. The early bird is absolutely redonkulous price. You're basically stealing from us by getting it so cheap. It is going to be absolutely amazing. If anything, you're just going to have the most fun, transformational 3 days and be inspired. But the great thing about the way that we work and the way that we train is that you actually get results there and then because you're doing it. We're not just making you sit there and go, learning. Like, you are totally getting the no BS version of let's take action and get real results for yourself there live. So get yourself there. Tickets to Real Life Property Wealth Exposed in January. Let's do it. Come on, Kamila. Let's raise the energy of the
Hey, it's Real Life Property Secrets. Real Life Property Wealth is the live event.
Yes. Oh my goodness. We need to do live so get Real Life Property Secrets Experts.
We've got a super important question to ask you, Kamila, in a moment. But let me just tell you, the people on here, for some reason, we're not able to flick through and do our check. So once we do that check, we will...
I've already told you. I've told you who they are.
Where?
Both WhatsApp and your Facebook.
So is it one person? Oh, okay.
Two people, but you have a choice. I've noticed it too.
There's no choice. There's picked at random. There's no choice. Yeah, so you go and do that. Anyway, I've got a super important question to ask. So, Kamila, we have this thing that we do in our tribe and all of our training, right? And we say this thing. We say that you always got to, like, we never ever want people to forget this. And that is to do the right thing for the right reason. Now, why is that?
My reason.
Your reason is why to do the right thing for the right reason.
Freedom.
You must do the right thing for the right reason for your freedom. Or, yeah.
So. Or like, I know what you mean. Karma. No, so my thing is karma. Because it'll get you.
Okay, cool. So that's good. And we always ask this question because we always then see, have people been watching videos and things like that? Well, people are putting it in the comments right now. But I also like to add content. I mean, that's good. Do the right thing for the right reason because of karma. That is absolutely true. But the main reason, it's not the only reason because you just added another reason. So thank you for that. But people are saying on here, like, you got to do the right thing for the right reason because that is the only way that you will discover your true potential. So thank you so much for joining us on here today. It's been totally amazing. I'm sure there'll be plenty more things happening with the comments and people asking questions and all of that. But yeah, great. Thank you for making yourself available. You added a lot of value here to the people. So there's some good karma already. And yeah, just totally amazing. I think our mastermind has already started. We went over a little bit, but that's good. Yeah. So thank you so much, Kamila.
Thank you for having me. You guys are awesome and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. Take care, everybody. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.